YouTube channel. I'm your host 40 and we are back with another video on Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at another underappreciated character, which is Final Fantasy VII's ninja girl, materia stealing Yuffie. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at why Yuffie is an underappreciated character. So her character role is a range debuffer. She is obviously a very fast character within the fast speed tier because obviously she's a ninja. Taking a look at her stats, the one that sticks out to me as being a little bit on the low side, which you'll find out later really hurts her, is her attack stat. So this means that she's not going to be scoring brave breaks as often as other characters with a higher attack stat. Her two abilities are Snatch and Rebuff. So currently in Global, Snatch steals the target's brave, adds it to Yuffie's before she deals a brave attack. And the damage modifier on Snatch for the brave attack is actually pretty good. It's at 150%. The ability 2, which is Rebuff, all she does is any type of debuff that she has on her, she transfers it back to one enemy. So that is the kind of character that she is as far as her ability kit. Now taking a look at her artifact passives and which ones that are the top 3 that you should be going for, definitely Max Brave plus 330 and Attack plus 108 would be like your number one, especially with attack, seeing as she already has low attack and you want her to at least be able to deal as much brave damage, so then she has a high potential to score a brave break. Mighty Snatch would be good as well, and so would Brave Break up 2-star for both of those. So those are the ones that you definitely want to focus on when building up Yuffie. Now, her current lineup for equipment on Global is as follows. We currently have her 5-star 15 CP Oritsuru, so this grants Snatch a 25% max brave up for 1 turn. However, it doesn't really change the damage modifier, it still leaves it at 150%, but it gives her that 25% max brave up for 1 turn, which could be pretty useful. She also has her 4-star Juji Shuriken, which is her 10 CP 4-star weapon. It gives her a max brave plus 110. If you happen to pull it, you could try to maximum break it and then level it up to unlock the passive, but it's not really needed because she does have innately high max brave. Her 5-star Wutai's Armlet is her 35 CP, which can be purchased now at the Guard Metal Shop, which is fairly good. It gives her some HP and a little bit more max brave. And then finally, her 4-star Silver Armlet is her 4-star armor, which gives her a little bit more attack, which again could be pretty useful because she does have low attack. Now taking a look at her pros and cons. So what are Yuffie's pros currently in Global? So she's fast and she has naturally high max brave. Her Snatch hits fairly hard and allows her to potentially maximize her brave consistently. So because of the fact that she's stealing brave from the enemy and she adds it to her own, she can maximize it that way. If she's being targeted next turn, she won't be broken so easily. But this is taking into account that the enemy has some pretty high brave, so just want to keep that in mind when you're using that. And then of course Rebuff is useful against specific enemies who are known for heavy debuffs against the party, which is the Marlboro. So if you want to bring Yuffie in against any type of a Marlboro type of an enemy, well, she's definitely useful for that because she can throw those debuffs back onto the enemy. Now what are her cons? So Yuffie unfortunately has a lot of cons. She's definitely one of the characters, not only in Global but even JP currently, that are quite shafted in the cast. And honestly, it's just because of the type of character that she is and the way they designed her around the way she is in Final Fantasy VII. So she has low attack, again, as we mentioned before, which hinders her ability to score a brave break, even with the high damage modifier on Snatch. She also lacks a hybrid ability, which is a brave plus HB ability, and unfortunately she's extremely niche. She's really only useful for specific fights, and even then, for those specific fights, you can find other characters that are better options for those particular fights. So that's what really hurts Yuffie, and it's really unfortunate because I personally, in the Final Fantasy VII universe, really like her. I think she's a funny character, and I think that her personality is great, and that she's always sneaking around trying to steal from you. I think, she's a bit of a troll, but they really did troll her when it comes to her usefulness and abilities in Opera Omnia. So the kind of things that she could be given to be better is if they allow Snatch to at least be a hybrid attack and possibly do something such as grant the party buffs or brave. That would be good. I know that contradicts her character because Yuffie's super selfish. When she steals a materia, it's for her. She ain't gonna be sharing that. So if Snatch was gonna be buffing the party or giving them brave, yeah, it contradicts her character, but again, it'll make her a little bit more useful if they gave Snatch that ability. And then giving her abilities to have some sort of low action delay would be good too. Now she is fast, however, none of her abilities have that function, so when she uses her abilities, she has no chance of acting a little bit sooner than some of the other characters. So if they can give her that, make her a little bit better. And then rebuff should at least deal brave damage in addition to tossing the debuffs back to the enemy. I mean, she literally tosses the debuffs, so you would think that it would do some sort of damage on top of bringing those debuffs back to the enemy. But if they gave that to rebuff, it'd make it a little bit better. So what kind of teammates would be good for Yuffie? So debuffers and buffers, so she can at least score a potential brave break with Snatch, would be ideal for her. So those are some examples. Tidus, Ferris, Vanille, Ramza, Penelo are some of the characters that you could use with her. Now, what does she get in the future as far as what she currently has in JP? So Snatch will now also steal a random buff from the target, which is pretty cool, although I would have preferred that it would have been all the buffs rather than just a random buff. Later on, she will have access to her 5-star 35 CP weapon, which is called Wind Slash. So Wind Slash will give rebuff an additional usage of +1. It's now going to be affecting all enemies, so it's going to become AoE. So whenever she tosses those debuffs back, it affects all enemies on the screen. All thrown debuffs now are also extended by 5 turns, which is pretty nice. It grants her a unique buff to herself called Now It's Perfect. This is subject to change when this comes out in Global, but it's currently called Now It's Perfect. And this gives her an increase to her max Brave, attack, and speed for 8 turns. And she also gets a raise in her Brave based on her max Brave. And this also converts her Brave attack into Brave Attack Plus while she has that Now It's Perfect buff active. And her Brave Attack Plus is a one-hit Brave attack that also increases all parties' Brave based on 20% of Yuffie's max Brave. So her Brave Attack Plus could be seen some sort of like a Brave battery as long as she has that buff from her 35 CP weapon active. So unfortunately, Yuffie still does not have her level 60 Awakening or her EX weapon, but because she is one of the older, earlier characters released, you never know, she may be getting it soon in JP. And then overall, and it's really hard for me to say this because I do like her character. Even with her 35 CP later on and some slight buffs, she's still extremely niche, and unfortunately she has little uses. And however, again, this may change when she gets her level 60 Awakening and her EX weapon. I mean, as we've seen before, if you guys are following the JP version of Dissidia Opera Omnia, there are characters who were like at the low tier who are now like at the high tier, which are some are like Waka and Ferris. They definitely bumped up in the tier list for JP, if you guys are following the tier list for JP. And those characters used to be, you know, considered pretty bad. So you never know. Yuffie might be given something when she gets her level 60 and EX that will make her at least contend with the high tier, top tier characters later on. But for now, she is definitely underappreciated, but that does not mean that you guys shouldn't use her. I was using her in the beginning when this game first came out for Global, and I'm still having fun with her. So kudos to you guys if you guys are raising up your Yuffie for later on. Alright guys, that's going to be it for the video. Once again, my name is 40 the Broadway Saiyan. Stay tuned for the next video on Dissidia Opera Omnia, and mahal everyone.